Hey guys, I'm James John, and we're about to start a new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. You guys are going to love this because we're going to talk about Russia. They may be programming kids to be student soldiers. Weird. Also, we're going to talk about whether they should take all this money in Vegas and allocate it to a stadium where they could be giving that money to help out teachers. Then lastly, we're going to end things by talking about, is it okay for teachers to play games online with students? I don't know, but Devin's done it. Crying in My Car, new episode's coming up right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. My name is Devin Siebold. I've got my good buddy, Mr. James Ian.
What's up?
He's a parent turned comedian. I'm a former teacher. I do speaking now. I also am a comedian traveling around the board, Teachers Comedy Tour. Hopefully you're checking us out over there. And don't forget as well to rate this 5-star. Share it with all your friends. Let everybody know I listen to the best teacher comedy podcast on the planet.
That's
by
right.
far. Love those reviews. Love the positive feedback coming in. Thank you all for tagging us in the awesome clips you guys are sharing and everything. It's sweet. I like to respond to everything. Anytime people message me, tag me, I always respond to it. So please do.
True.
Now, today we're going to talk about some interesting dynamics that I know a lot of teachers are aware of. Now, I've personally experienced this. Okay. Today we're going to talk about horrible bosses. Now, I know admin out there that are listening, you could hear it tighten.
Yep.
You know, they're stuck to their chair in their car.
Yep.
And it has to do more with not exactly what they did, but how we handle them. That's what I've never liked. Okay. Is a lot of times we have bad admin. Now, I can't fault you. You know, a lot of these I'm like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a principal. I couldn't be assistant principal. No, way too much pressure, way too much time. We talked about that already. It's not a fun thing.
Good pay though.
Good pay.
Good pay.
Now, I couldn't do it. I also couldn't deal with the pressure of being a first-year principal. You know, normally principals, vice principals, they give you 1 year, 2 years max to change things around. Yeah. That's not enough time. No. You got to build a rapport with the teachers. You got to get to know them. You got to give them time as students, you know. And we don't give that leeway to principals.
We want it now.
Yeah, they're not in the union. They don't have protections.
Nope.
They are out there on a plank, and we are making them walk the plank. And their only way out is to do a triple backflip, you know, a triple Lindy. Land on the deck and go whoa,
yeah, ta-da.
And most of the time, they end up just falling to the sharks. And this is the thing, though, man. I think that sometimes we handle it wrong.
What do you mean?
What I mean by that is I've had principals that have been terrible.
I've heard about them.
They get promoted from assistant principal to principal off of preferential treatment. The district's usually not aware of how good they are as an assistant principal. They just go, hey, you know what? The principal left. You've been there a while. We should promote you. Doesn't mean that you're good. Just means you've been there a while. Yeah. You know it. They don't have to. The training curve is low.
It makes it easy for them.
Yeah, moving. Everybody's aware of who you are. Yeah, well, sometimes that's not a good thing. No. Sometimes we know them for other things. Yeah. You know, and they become principal. And I've had a few principals over my time that would be a principal, do terrible at it. And for some reason, we can't demote them out of principality down to assistant again.
Is that a real thing?
I've never seen it done.
Never seen it done.
I've never seen a principal go, hey, you can't be a principal anymore. You got to go back to assistant principal.
It's not like it's not like sports. Like you get up to the big league and they're like, hey man, you wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You need to go back down.
It can't be like, hey, you're not a starter on third base anymore. We're going to put you in the dugout. You can be a backup. Yeah. There's no backup. It's a weird thing, but to go along with your baseball analogy, what I've often seen, and I want to hear from other teachers if you've seen this too, is that you get that principal who becomes the starting pitcher. Yes. They're out on the mound, and they hit the first 12 batters. And you go, they're terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And then the owner of the team comes down
or
from
the owner
comes down from the booth. And he walks out on the field and he goes, "Son, you're not doing well out there. It's not looking good for you. I'm going to promote you to general manager." And that's what I've seen done.
That's funny.
I see principals that don't do a good job, and then they get promoted to district office positions.
That's crazy.
They don't get fired because they know somebody or they've been in the system a while, and they might need them later. So what they do is they give them a cushy desk job in the district, making more money.
Okay.
Sometimes. Sometimes making the same, sometimes maybe a slight pay cut.
So as a parent, let me make sure I understand this correctly. Yep. You got a principal not doing a good job, repeatedly doing bad things, not good for the school at all.
Right.
Then we're going to promote him to a district level job. Then he can start making bad decisions for the county.
For the county.
Perfect.
Yes. Now, James, look at you.
Look at me.
You're graduating.
I did.
It's so crazy. You came into this not knowing a thing about teaching.
I did not.
And you already are a scholar.
I am. I'm already angry at admin. I'm not even a teacher.
I know, right?
I walk into my kid's school. I hate you.
Yeah. James shows up at school board meetings. They're like, "You don't have kids here." You're like, "I'm outraged." Pepper's Farm remembers.
That's right. If you listen to our last pod, you understand that reference.
But I honestly, like, I don't understand it, and I would feel bad talking about it, but I know the admin that were not good.
Gotcha.
And they weren't good at this level, and we moved them up to a higher level. And I'm comfortable talking about that because they talked trash about me at a local restaurant and didn't know that my sister was sitting a table over and heard them talking trash about me.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, I like this.
Calling them out.
All right,
but I'm not going to do name, but I had an assistant principal promoted to principal.
Before you start, let me grab my mop for all this spilled tea.
Assistant principal promoted to principal, failed as a principal, moved to the district office, cushy job, overseeing people.
Why?
Well, they knew people.
Okay.
They had other people that were in the system. They had a power play.
Okay, it's funny because when I got to do the Teachers Do Stand Up tour, I got to talk to teachers, and they were telling me the same thing you're saying right now, that these guys get promoted, and it's all based off who they know.
Who you know.
It's a big club. Like, oh, man, this is my guy. Move him up.
By the way, side note, have you ever heard of Rouse in New York City?
No.
Because we're talking about this and it's reminding me of this. I read an article yesterday. This is completely off topic, but trust me, follow me. I thought it's along the same lines.
Okay.
There's a restaurant in New York City, only has 10 tables. And I was looking online and they had an auction for a charity auction.
Yeah.
And the charity auctions were like meet and have lunch with Kristen Bell. And it was like $4,000.
Wow.
You know, a phone call from Captain Jean-Luc Picard. You could talk to Patrick Stewart. It was like $2,000. And then it was like dinner for 4 at Rouse in RAO, by the way, the sauce. It's from the sauce in New York City. And it was like $12,000.
Good Lord.
And I was like, who's paying $12,000? And it turns out that you can't get in there. Even if you're a celebrity, like people own the tables, and you have to be invited by the owner of the 10 tables in there.
Get out of
town. It's like timeshares.
What?
Yeah.
How much does it cost? As much as a timeshare, apparently?
I don't know. I don't know how you get it. That's the thing, is nobody knows anything about it. It's like all super secret. Yeah.
That's the Illuminati.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
And you know what? That's also where principals go. You get fired, and suddenly they have a table at Rouse, and you're like, wait a minute.
How did you get that?
How? And they're like, you got to know people.
That's crazy.
But it's all about who you know, man.
Well, let me ask a question, because I've never kind of known this. What makes a bad admin? Because there's a lot of teachers who say it. Come on. Don't hold in. Let it out.
I would like teachers to chime in on this.
I would like that too.
I'd like it in the comments. What makes a bad admin? That is a great question. I would say inability to manage the teachers. Okay. You know, managing the teachers, managing the parents, that's a juggling act. I would also say it's one of those things where they kind of have you ever seen the diagram of the definition of a leader?
Yes.
You have the guy standing on the podium, push. not the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's the guy helping with the rope, going, everybody help push. I got this too. That's the thing that makes a good admin.
Gotcha.
Is somebody that's down there with you, going, hey, oh man, you're struggling here. You know, we got 32 kids in your class. Can I help you out? Being proactive. Hey, maybe I'll come by. And you know, I've heard of admins that actually cover classes. I've worked in I've done schools where I've talked to admin and they're like, oh no, I'm teaching tomorrow. And I'm like, you're teaching? You're the principal. They're like, yeah, we're short of teachers, so I got to step in. And I'm like,
yeah, like,
okay, all right.
Yeah, look at him.
But then you have the admin that would go, I'm not stepping in. Let's divide the class.
In there?
Yeah.
With them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it has to do with there's a barrier between teachers and admin. And the more you can chip away at that barrier and kind of be more involved and not micromanagement involved.
Okay.
I mean like aware involved.
Gotcha.
I think that's where you have a good admin.
So you're looking for a person to be an ally.
Yeah, an ally. Support.
Gotcha.
You're looking for support. Somebody's going to have your back. You know, I want to get that email from an admin that goes, hey, there was a parent that came in here looking for you today. I talked to them. I diffused the situation. We're good to go, just so you're aware.
Oh, that's awesome.
To where they step in, you know.
Yes.
And I've had admin like that actually, you know, are good.
That's awesome.
And help. And that's the kind of stuff we need, you know, but it's not the kind of stuff that's readily available.
Now, dumb question for me as the parent. To become an assistant principal or a principal, you have to start as a teacher, correct?
Nope.
You do not. So not every admin knows what you guys go through.
Nope. Most admin actually that I know that I've worked with had never stepped foot in a classroom.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you had to work your way from a teacher.
No, you just got to have a master's degree to be a master's degree to be an admin. I think to be a principal, they have other requirements. You know, you got to do some additional work, but you know, it's just master's degree.
That could be a huge problem.
If
someone doesn't understand what you're going through, how do they lead you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but picture this, you know, 55-year-old teacher and new young admin coming in.
Oh.
I mean, what are you going to do? I've been teaching 35 years. You're going to tell me how to do my thing, how to do my classroom.
Gotcha.
It's that Tiger Woods, John Daly meme where he's leaning against the club, smoking the cigarette, and they're like, you know, veteran teacher, you know, and then new admin. The veteran teachers run it. You know,
they have to,
but you got to get them on your side. That's again how you create a community, and creating a community going towards the same cause instead of my office is up there, your work is down here. If somebody complains, I come down here.
Got it.
That shouldn't be how it works.
Gotcha.
You know?
Can I ask our listeners, our viewers, for a favor? When you guys write in and you tell us about all the bad admins and what makes a bad one, can you also include what makes a good one? Because I love to read that. I'd love to understand. I learn a little bit more each day about what you guys go through. Yeah,
and it's tough. Bad admin, you know, but that's the thing. I will say this too. Sometimes you have bad admin that aren't given a chance.
Okay.
Think about if you suddenly were given, control over 120 people.
That's crazy.
Do you think you can, in a year, connect with them, change it around? In not even just a year, 10 months. I mean, and
honestly, 10 months. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. You guys are always starting with one leg tied behind your back because as teachers, so I couldn't imagine that going in and trying to fix all those problems first, then getting to the point where we're focusing on other things that are bad. Like there's too many things that are bad for me to change in 10 months.
To put it this way, I taught in a school that had 4 principals in 4 years.
That's crazy.
It's the boy who cried wolf, man. How do you take the next one seriously?
Did they lose it? Like each time?
Like, here's what we're going to be doing. You're going to be gone in a year. I'm tenured. You're not.
Yeah.
Bye.
Did they all just lose it by the end of their thing? Is that what happened when they all got let go?
No, they all just got promotions. They were all great and went to the district, and now they're awesome.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it was one of those things where that, you know, you can tell they're on their way out. Some principals, it's a resume builder.
Okay.
You know, it's like I was a principal and now I'm going to go to a better school that pays me more.
Ooh.
Or a private school or a charter school, or I'm going to go into education in a different field. You know, there were some principals that went to work for they became friends with the textbook publishers, and textbook publishing websites are hiring. And then it's honestly like the politics. You know how like a senator will quit, but then the senator becomes a lobbyist.
That's right.
And so you have
because he knows how.
Yeah, because he knows everybody. Now.
Yep. And we just brought it full circle. It's about who you know.
Who you know.
There it is.
Yes. So all right, let's jump into the teachers in the news, my friend. How about we do that? There is a teacher-led PAC that is filing a petition to block the funding for the athletics stadium in Vegas.
Why?
Yeah, so apparently they're trying to build a Major League Baseball stadium in Vegas.
Yes.
And the teacher PAC has stepped in and said, well, we disagree with this. We want it on the ballot because there has been allocated $380 million in financing to help build this stadium. Ooh. And it was allocated without a vote from the public.
Okay.
You're taking a massive chunk of Vegas's
a lot of money.
Revenue and allocating it towards a stadium that you think will help boost the economy.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I've never said let's go to Vegas for the sports. You know, I mean, like they have teams.
Oh,
but I've never said let's. You know what? I'd love to go to Vegas to sit down and watch a game.
No. You're missing the point why they do it in Vegas. You will go to Vegas and you will bet on sporting.
Dude, if Pete Rose is not their general manager, I don't want anything to do with the athletics.
Pete Rose.
Dude, you need him there, right? Yeah. But so here's the thing. Yeah. This is a teacher's complaint. They're trying to get enough signatures. I think you need over 100,000 signatures because they think it should go to a vote because they think that the state is misappropriating those funds and it should be going to things like teaching. This money doesn't have to go to teaching. They're saying we just want that money to go towards things that benefit us a lot more than a stadium. Not only that, they're making the argument, and it's a good one, that it's a billionaire owner.
Yeah.
He has the money to pay cash to build the whole stadium by himself.
And that's absolutely true.
But they always petition the city.
That's right.
Because they want the taxpayer funds to help foot the bill.
And here's how they do it. They go to those people that are in charge of making those decisions, and they say, hey, look at all the jobs and the revenue I'll bring to this city. It looks good for you because you need to get reelected. You know how you get reelected? Making the economy better.
Right.
So it's one of those, we're bringing it right back. Who you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, I always look at stuff like that, and I go, $360 million, are you ever going to get your money back on that? I mean, how many games is that going to have to, you know?
Well, have you seen the price of concessions at a game? It'll take 2 games.
Right?
2 games.
Just one hot dog break. We're covered. That's it. But $360 million is a lot. Now, I'm gonna spurge some interest in this. It does trigger the local economy. We know this.
Yes.
I went to go see Metallica and Pantera at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Okay.
Let me tell you right now, I flew out the day after that. The entire airport was Metallica T-shirts.
Yes.
The entire airport.
Yes.
Even the flight attendant was Pantera. And I was like, what the heck? You know, but I was like, wow, everybody here. And I was thinking in my mind, I go, think of how much money that one concert brought in of airfare, food, hotels, everybody there had to pay for a hotel. I mean, there was a lot of money that was brought in. So yes, I don't think people are going to fly out of town to go see the Athletics play, but they don't go in town to see the Athletics play.
True.
But
and I'm not saying that teachers don't deserve some of that money, or schools do, or any part of the city other than the stadium. But I just know how the way it works, man. It's
but I gotta side with the teachers on this.
Oh, absolutely,
because of 2 things. First off, the money should go to the local, resources. If your schools are failing, how do you go look at all the jobs it'll create? Okay, but look at how you're treating the jobs we already created locally.
Absolutely. You're right.
And also the second thing is, how can you allocate $380 million without a vote for a massive stadium that is going to be funded by public money?
Yeah. And let's be honest, that billionaire could go to 8 of his richest friends and have them become quote unquote investors, and that money can be made up that way.
It's going to be a 33,000 seat ballpark on the Vegas Strip. On the Vegas Strip, you think we're going to stop and see the Athletics play? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
I'd rather go to Caesars and gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. The next story we're going to have is schools dismiss early because they're going to have to teach online with this heat blast up in the northeastern United States.
Okay.
I, always mocked New York with how late they started. Mm-hmm. I always say, man, you guys don't start till mid-September or, beginning of September. That's wild.
That is, it seems long for us.
Here's the thing. A lot of the northeastern schools do not have AC.
Central air.
They don't have it.
My wife explained that. I thought she was crazy.
No, they don't.
She comes from New York, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't have central air?
Yep.
She goes, no, that's something they don't build everywhere.
Yeah, even in Detroit, they had to shut down 20% of the schools because it was 89 degrees Thursday. And I'm sitting here like it's 89 degrees in December.
Floridians
in Florida
are losing their mind
right
now.
Now, but here's the thing: if the classroom it's outside 89 and you don't have AC in the class, the AC and the temperature in the class has got to be mid 80s.
It has to be,
and that's intolerable.
It is.
I mean, if you're a kid, you're a teacher, you're just sitting there sweating, and you're like, "This? How can you learn in that environment?
You can't.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can put fans, you can crack the windows, but it's
hot air.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
But I will say in Florida though, it's crazy what we've gotten used to. Like we do have central air here, but you got to walk the halls, and not every school has enclosed hallways. You're walking outside, and you got to get used to it here. Like here, our school uniform is sweat.
It is.
Like, that's official.
Yep.
That's what we do, man.
Yeah, I actually wrote up kids. I'm like, you look too comfortable. Go to the office.
Look at you.
Yeah, look at you out of uniform. Now, have I ever told my AC story about what my class used to be?
No.
So I taught in a classroom, and teachers up north are going to be so mad about this one. But I taught in the tundra. We would call it letting out the penguins. They say the admin they'd go, "Hey, how's the penguins up there?" And I go, "Pretty good." I taught in a classroom that was a partitioned off part of a massive library. And what they did is they took the library and they broke it up into pieces because they didn't need it anymore in Florida.
Because they got rid of all the books.
No, because they opened up a second media center.
Okay.
And when they did it, when they emptied out the library, they just blocked it off. Well, you had a massive AC system that was supposed to cool off a huge room, and it was set at a specific temperature.
Yeah.
And that thermostat got put in the computer room where it was constantly hot. And so they would set it real low, and the cold air would blow into my room trying to cool off this big room, but I'm a tiny little room.
Ooh.
And I kid you not, went to science class, grabbed a thermometer, put it on my desk in the low 50s.
Bro, as you tell that story, the fat kid in me is giddy.
Oh, it was 50
man.
I was just sitting there. I'd be like, this is nice. But I wore a jacket every day. All the kids brought their coats, and they'll describe it. They were like,
gotcha.
Siebold, it is cold. And the worst part is they never listen. Because the first week I go, I don't control the thermostat.
Gotcha.
And then 2 weeks later, it's cold. Can you do something? I don't control. 2 weeks later, Siebold, it's cold. Can we? I don't. I mean, you don't. I have to consistently remind them. But
how do you know your classroom is too cold when they're filming Happy Feet 3?
Right?
That's how you know, man.
Our going to lunch was called March of the Penguins.
I love it.
All right. This next one, this is a wild one, but out of Jacksonville, Duval. The Duval Teachers United in Jacksonville, their teachers union, the office was raided by the FBI.
Oh.
And they confiscated boxes of stuff and computers, and nobody knows why. They're not commenting on it. It's an ongoing investigation. Rumor is that there was some misappropriation of funds, and that somebody may have done something with money they were not supposed to do.
Okay.
And so I don't know if that's true, but it looks pretty serious. I'm just bringing this up because, you know what? It's a story that we can run with. I don't know, but the FBI showing up to the union office, that's a big deal.
That is a very big deal.
Yeah. Are you here's the $1 million question I'm going to ask you. You're a teacher. You see the FBI raiding the office of your local teachers union.
Yeah.
You are a teachers union member and you pay monthly dues.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue
paying dues?
Yep.
Depends on what's found and released to the public.
Yeah.
Okay, depends on like you know what I mean. Like if it's something like one person was doing something bad and it wasn't the entire group, but if we find out that they've all bought themselves like cars, you know, stuff like that, I'm like, no, I'm not paying anymore. I'm done.
Then it becomes the union car. It's like, I own that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so I'll be picking up that car.
Union strong.
There
Union strong. All right. The next one. This is a wild one, man. I love this story, but it's one of those things like, what is our world coming to? You know, you sit here and we complain because the AC is 85 degrees in the room. In Russia, veterans of the Ukraine war have been ordered to teach defense courses for students. So there are Russian veterans coming back from war in the Ukraine, and they are putting them in the schools. But apparently they have been they've created a new center to retain teacher veterans of special military operations and are using them in the schools to teach the children. They said those who have taken part in combat are doing this implementation of new subject area with prioritization of practical training for new, and this is what they call it, by the way. This is what the new course they're teaching the kids in Russia is called: Fundamentals of Security and Defense of the Motherland.
Oh, God. You talk about propaganda. Yeah. Now, how old are the kids?
Fundamentals of Security and Defense of the Motherland.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so apparently they have been overseeing this.
Two problems with all this.
What's that?
First off, the motherland is Africa. Second,
the audacity.
The audacity.
Yeah.
Second, doesn't it sound eerily like they're creating child soldiers?
So, yes.
Okay, right?
It says, honestly, that the new curriculum will be focused on military skills, Moscow's view of the Ukraine's history, and history exam questions that will include the war in Ukraine and the reunification of Crimea, and which was annexed by the Ukraine.
Absolutely.
And also, just so you're aware, this blows my mind, the changes for the senior students, so you're a senior, an older kid in high school, the changes for them include proper use of the Kalashnikov assault rifles and hand grenades, piloting of unmanned aerial combat drones, and the application of battlefield first aid.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but
that's desperate. That sounds like Russia's desperate, man.
Right, it does. But it's the Ministry of Defense has said that it wants to reduce training timelines for mobilization. So basically, have them halfway ready. Wow. They want to prepare them. Almost.
Bro, this is crazy.
That's
nuts.
But I honestly, it's the day and age we live in.
That's insane.
Day and age we live in. All right. And this one is just the New Yorker published an interesting article. It says, can teachers and parents get better at talking to one another? I read a little bit of this, but I just want to pose that question. Can teachers and parents get better at talking to one another? Because I do see a lot of preemptive anger, and it doesn't need to be that way. You know, we sometimes think it's you versus us and not us together on the same page. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love teachers, I support you to death, but I do follow some teacher groups, and I will see some posts occasionally from teachers that go, can you believe the audacity of this parent? And I go, I can. You know, I get why they're mad.
Gotcha.
I get
you can see their side.
It doesn't sound like you handled it right.
Gotcha.
You know, you are thinking that it's you versus them, and playing. I don't know why, but we have this line drawn of parents versus teachers, and the talking is not there. We unfortunately the only time we have civil conversations as a group even is open houses. Yeah. You know, I think maybe we should could we explore not doing just open houses, but like mid-year open house, and they'll all get together and talk about the successes of the class and positivity. And I don't know, man. I feel like there's a barrier. How do you feel about that?
Well, I would say as a parent, when we'd have to deal with our kids' teachers, it's funny how the system is set up, and you follow me on this. It's almost like a court scenario where you're the prosecutor as a teacher telling me that there's a problem with the child. That automatically puts me on their defense team. I automatically come into that actual parent-teacher conference like we're trying a case instead of saying, hey, You tell me what the problem is, and let's decide how we're going to fix it as a team.
How do we fix that?
Yeah, we, not, hey, it's me against you.
But how do we improve then the defense, the prosecution versus the defense?
It's hard because there's emotions involved. Let me explain. You love your kid. Most parents love their children. They do. And that's their flesh and blood. So your instincts always take up for your child. I think as parents, we need to work on going into that situation and presenting yourself. I'm not here to accuse you. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
Because I bet you got that a lot from from parents. They would come in for a conference. It was always, how dare you do this? Instead of saying,
I'm having PTSD
know,
right now.
I saw you flinch.
Parent-teacher stress disorder.
That's right. Instead of us coming in like, okay, tell me what the problem is. I know what the problem is because my kid told me.
Yeah.
You have to be objective as a parent. And that's hard because there's emotions involved. But I think as parents, we can work on that.
Right.
And it's not perfect on both sides. I think there's some things that teachers can do too. But as parents, and if any of you guys are listening, go in there with an open mind. You might learn something that you can benefit from that meeting. True.
Yeah, that's true. And it's difficult to kind of set that tone, you know. I don't know. I think that it needs to be some positive feedback.
Yes.
I think as teachers, we don't do enough of saying, hey, thanks to the parents and to the students and going, you're kicking butt. You're doing great. You know, maybe a positive call home to break that barrier.
Every once in a while.
The first time you talk to a parent maybe doesn't need to be a, hey, your kid's doing this poorly. You know, and I think that parents on the flip side need to do that too. You know, I have had great teachers for my kids. One of them, my son, Liam and Gavin, both made leaps and bounds, you know, and you got to praise them while they're in the teaching. Go, hey,
absolutely,
my kid's doing great. And I think it's because of you. You know, you're really making an impact, and that can help a teacher, you know, motivate them, mentally keep them going.
Yes.
And also break down that barrier of, oh, they're saying something positive? Well, that's cool. That's a great interaction between a parent and myself.
Yeah.
Maybe parents aren't the bad guys, you know?
And I will say this, parents too, another thing that we can do, be proactive. Like we said, there's tons of different programs out there where you can monitor what your kid's doing as far as grades, testing and whatnot. If you see something that you don't like, reach out to the teacher. Don't wait to be contacted.
Yep.
And still go in there with an open mind and go in there and listen and see what you guys can do as a team to help the child out.
As a team.
A team, yes.
Yeah. All right. Now, James, that's the Teachers in the News. Now, I was a teacher.
You were?
I am no longer a teacher.
I believe that.
And that said, I still like to stay in the know.
Okay.
I like to be hip.
If you will.
I like to be with the kiddos down in the school
systems. Is that what the kids are doing?
Yeah, this is what the teachers are doing, being all hip and with it.
Yeah.
And I like to stay with it.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. Here's how I stay with it. The worst way possible.
Okay.
I go on Reddit.
Oh, why do you do that?
I do it. Every once in a while, I like to bring it up on this show. I like to read what they're going through.
Okay.
What's the classroom complaints? What's the trends? What's going on? Is it just the fidgets making a comeback fidget spinners?
It's not that, no.
You know, but that's the thing is you get to see, oh, my kids are doing this, and everybody else chimes in and go, oh my goodness, my kids are doing this, and then I'm on the outside going, interesting.
Yes.
You know, it's very much like the sleep study with the glass, and I'm Reddit's inside, and I'm taking notes outside.
You're like sipping tea as you read it. Ooh.
Yeah, ooh, look at what the kids are doing. So I just wanted to see what the kids are doing, what the parents are going through, and what what's being talked about now. One of the first things that I found on Reddit was an interesting one. I could see this one happening because I've seen it on TikTok a lot.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you read the headline, didn't you?
Oh, goodness.
Somebody on Reddit, a teacher, posted the thing, sexual noises. You know, it's one of those things that you're like, what? And I didn't deal with this when I was in school. But apparently, this teacher is posting and saying, look, my male students are making certain noises. You know, pleasure sounds, clapping sounds, things like that. That are obviously overtly
referring to.
Yeah, not good.
Yes.
And you said, how do you deal with that? Because it's becoming an increasing issue, and these sounds are kind of permeating the school lesson.
Oh my gosh!
And I thought I had it bad when occasionally a fart would sneak through, and you'd be like, "Come on."
Oh, yeah.
Come on, guys. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, like, that was the noises you dealt with back then.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine a full-on, safari going on in the back of the room. What is the heck is going on? But I'm sitting here and I'm reading all the responses. Apparently, this is a big thing that even in as low as elementary school, in class, they're making moaning noises. Now, some people attribute it to TikTok. Some people attribute it to YouTube. I know my son likes to watch video gamers.
Yeah, that's what streamers.
Streamers on YouTube. I watch it with him because I don't want anything crazy.
Funny business.
Yeah. Now, I know the streamers that are clean.
Yes.
And they're usually wholesome. They're funny. Whatever. Innocent. My kid likes watching it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it with you. Check it out. Now, occasionally, they would kind of hit a button, and I heard my son mimicking the, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I've seen it on TikTok.
Yeah, on TikTok. And oh, yeah. And my son would make that sound, and he'd be in his room. He'd go, oh, yeah. And I had to go, hey, listen.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
Yeah. He's like, but what does that mean, Dad?
It means something you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Now, we stopped watching that streamer because that sound was coming in a little too much, and I was like, we got to watch something else.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Because they're making that sound. They don't even know why they're doing it.
7 and 8, they don't know. They just think it's trendy. It's the fun sound. It sounds funny. I think that's what the elementary kids are probably doing, is they're making these sounds because they sound funny. But I started reading it. I had freshmen last year. I immediately kicked them out of class. 5th grader repeats the sounds. Some of these teachers said what they do is they hear the sound, and then they go, okay, that sound you just made, I would like to call your mother and have you make that same sound on the phone to let them know what I'm hearing in class. And then the kids go, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm good. I'm good. I won't. And they say it stops right then.
Abort.
Yeah,
Abort.
That seemed to be the most effective way of doing it. Yeah. But, is one of them said, I had a 5th grader make a sound. And I said, hey, call your mom and tell her what sound you make. And they said, okay. And then how do you combat that?
Because they must not know.
It's one of those things that I'm sitting here reading it, and I'm like, man, I don't know what I would do. I mean, as a comic, I'd laugh. Yeah, inside, I'd be like, that's funny.
I would be terrified to say anything.
To
be honest with you.
Definitely those noises, everybody's sitting on there, and it's got 1,000 comments.
Jesus.
And all the comments are saying, yep.
It happens all the time.
So those sounds, that's like a trend.
That's crazy.
Is the noises. And I'd love to know, teachers, you dealing with that in your class? Also, how do you deal with it? I mean, do you just let it go? Do you just, and do you write it up?
Yes.
You write it up as a referral?
If you don't stop it, it's going to keep going.
Making suggestive sounds in the class?
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know.
This classroom's TV 14.
But is that in the code of conduct? Because our district always went to the code of conduct. Normally it's profanity. Is that considered profanity?
No, but
I mean, then you're going to paint a fine line of you can't punish my kid. He didn't say anything bad. He just made a noise.
Do you want your son making these noises in class?
Right. No, absolutely not. Then there was another teacher that talked about kindergartners, and we don't talk enough about elementary on here. And this one, I'll be honest, I messed up before and did this with my child. They wrote a little reminder, said, reminder to parents of kindergartners, please be sure your kids can remove their pants by themselves quickly before sending them to school.
Ooh.
Had a kid today make it to the restroom, but then unfortunately had an accident because couldn't get the pants off quick enough. The fine motor skills for a button and zip up weren't quite there yet. When my kid was in elementary school, I remember I had one time a button that you had to put through the loop, and they had an accident.
Yes.
And I was like, snap on, snap off from now on.
There you go.
And that was what I had to do until their motor skills got to where they could, and their fine-tuned thinking going, I have to go to the restroom. Gotcha. I'm not going to wait till the last second. And the teachers are just chiming in left and right. Oh, my goodness, the amount of clothes that kids wear that is not kid-friendly. Somebody said, for the love of God, please stop sending your preschool girls to school in rompers with a tie around the waist or overalls they can't get out of. And thousands of people liking and commenting on this one saying exactly. It is, you know.
I can imagine, man.
Yeah, just literally, you know, you got to tell parents, though, the waist has to be elastic.
Yes.
You know, get it down quick and go to the restroom.
Yes, yes. Miss Johnson, your son looks lovely in his Louis Vuitton.
Yes. But
you know what P doesn't go well with? Leather.
Yeah.
So can you please?
The 7 buttons at the top are, you know, along with the overalls. And it's just, it's unbelievable. But yeah, they were saying that that was a problem. And then another teacher chimed in and said, unfortunately, my school has uniforms, which require a belt.
For even the little ones?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So then what do you do? I mean, that's a recipe for disaster.
It sure is.
Yeah. So the belt, I don't know, man. You gotta work hard with them right off the bat. Go, hey, I would honestly take forced like bathroom breaks, like every hour. I'd say, let's line up.
Let's go.
Yeah, because we don't want any accidents.
No,
so,
I'm not cleaning any of that up.
Again, bless you, kindergarten teachers. The things you guys have to deal with, the amount of comments that were like, exactly, cleaned up 3 today. It's like, they don't pay you enough. They don't pay you enough.
And let me tell you something. Wipies are expensive.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Now here, the very last one that we're going to talk about today. This was on Reddit. This was the #1 trending topic there. It was an interesting question, but one that I've had to battle myself.
Okay.
And I think a lot of teachers have to battle it too. Would you change schools for a $10,000 raise? Now, here's the thing. A teacher says, look, I work here. Just across the county line, they're paying $10,000 more. It's a 30-minute drive. Should I change schools? That's the problem we have in a lot of these counties. Dude, the county that I taught in, we were one of the lowest paid in the state of Florida.
I remember you telling me that.
The neighboring county, one of the highest paid. Do I drive 45 minutes there and 45 minutes back to teach over the county lines and make an additional $12,000 a year?
Devin, I have an answer for you.
Yes.
2 words. Carpool.
Carpool.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you could find other teachers that maybe want to go over there.
Absolutely.
But I've always wondered how school districts even manage, especially like the schools that are right on the border. How do you teach in a school, make $12,000 less, and then literally get in your car and drive right past another school to go home where people are making more money than you?
And think about that.
Substantially.
12,000 is the difference between you working a summer job and not.
Right.
Think about that.
Absolutely.
Think about that, brother.
Yeah. So, and the thing is this teacher said the exact same thing that I was thinking. They said, if I were to make that extra $10,000, it would take me an additional 13 years on their current pay scale to get up to that level.
Damn.
And by then, they're making $20,000 more.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have these super populated areas with better, pay and property taxes that go towards teachers. And sometimes you have these areas where there's almost no money there. That's where I taught. And man, it gets tempting as those lines get bigger. Then it's like, are you going to match?
Yeah.
Are you going to? And they have to.
Yes.
They have to match, or they lose teachers.
They will. And you can tell if your school's in a good neighborhood. We've talked about this. If your school has a Chick-fil-A next to it, good school.
Or in it,
good school. But if if your school is across the street from Waffle House,
right? It's like you guys have Chick-fil-A. We have Maryland Fried Chicken. Sorry about that. Yeah. But that's the thing is, do you make that drive? I mean,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, man.
You want to know how insane I am?
Wow.
I enjoyed the school I was teaching at, and I moved to Orlando and was still driving to Polk County. I was driving an hour and 15 minutes there and an hour and 15 minutes back, spending all that money on tolls.
Good Lord,
and
Devin.
making less money. I could just teach at the school across the street from me and make more money, not pay the tolls, but I liked where I was at.
You like where you're at.
So I think that's also the big factor is teachers got to wonder, do I enjoy it? Last thing I want to talk about, James, want to have a little bit of discussion. Are you a gamer?
Not as much as I used to be.
I game.
I know you did.
I am playing Tears of the Kingdom right now.
You used to be a professional gamer.
Yes.
People don't know that about you.
A little about me. I was in the top 50 on Call of Duty, by the way.
Which is hard. In the world.
Top 50 in the world on Call of Duty. Destroyed people.
Yes, you did.
They would log on, and then they'd log off.
When they saw that you were playing.
As soon as I played them, they'd go, I can't win. And I would go, you're correct. Go play Viva Pinata.
There you go.
And I would play these games, man. But I'm super into. I love the Fallout games and games like that. Now I used to play Call of Duty. I used to play it a lot. I have a question for teachers out there. Is it okay to play games with your students? And I say that
that's a good question.
Because I saw a group of student-teacher gamers. It was a student-teacher gamer association, and they would game after school in class. They'd set up like PlayStations and stuff and put it on the big projection screen, and they'd game.
What games?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's got to be, rated E for everyone.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you game on Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah.
When I first started gaming online, it was like the big start of like multiplayer online games.
It was.
In terms of like Call of Duty was the big one. When I first started playing like Call of Duty, Halo, and stuff like that, I had students that would join. And we'd play, and I kept it clean, kept it G-rated. They didn't, because I'd kill them every time. But they get mad and angry, and I always had fun with it. And I never thought it was like a big ethical violation or anything.
You wouldn't think
I didn't give any preferential treatment, you know, and I destroyed them online, so it really didn't matter. But I was wondering, nowadays with so much gaming out there, kids are loving these Twitch streamers. They're loving gaming. They're constantly on the Xbox, the PlayStation, the PCs, and also my generation getting older, where we were raised on video games and we're still deep in it.
Yes, we are.
I love playing video games. Can those two worlds coexist?
Here's the thing I'll say to you immediately comes to my mind. Most gamers have a game tag that not even their name.
Yeah,
so you might not even know you're playing with those people.
No.
That's the thing.
Yep.
Because you play with, if you're a gamer, you're going to end up playing with kids. Because that's who's online streaming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're a teacher, you don't even think about it, but you could be paired with a student and not even know it.
Not even know it.
Or a friend of a student's and go, hey, I think I heard your teacher's voice on on Xbox.
And the crazy part, because I've been online, the dirtiest, filthiest are the small kids.
Oh, yeah, because it's the first time they've ever cussed.
Oh, my gosh.
They're literally the Kevin Harts. My mama told me to tell you to mind your Yeah, but that's the way the kids are. It's their first time cussing, and they're so vile online. And then, you have the adults that sometimes lose to a child, and then they lose it. And, then they're cussing out a kid.
And it happens a lot.
It is a volatile place to meet.
It is.
I think playing in groups could be fun. Setting up, hey, we're having a local match. Everybody join. We're not allowing other people in.
Yes.
And we'll all play after school. I don't know. That could be kind of cool.
I think it'd be great. I think it's one of those things where it's not illegal.
Yeah,
to do that. I mean,
I don't know. Are there schools out there? I'd love to hear from you. Are there schools out there that have guidelines on gaming online with other students?
I want to hear that too, because I'm curious about that.
I mean, I just wonder, because I game all the time. Sometimes I'll play a little bit online. My kids love to play Among Us, and they play that online.
That's right.
And they play with other people. And I just if I heard my student's teacher playing against my child, I don't think I'd think anything of it.
No,
that's cool,
man.
That's
cool.
Neat,
Look at them. Tell them I said, hey.
But some people might go, well, let's report them, So you go, I don't know. It's a thin line, but I look at it, and I'd love to know. That's the topic I'm presenting, my Reddit topic of the day. Is it okay to game with kids online if you're a teacher?
Okay, that's a great question.
Should you be allowed to do it?
Because I bet there's a precedent been set already. Something happened somewhere. And, and somebody got in trouble or something like that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. It was a good stress reliever, because
absolutely
the kids were demeaning to me all day in the classroom, and then I got in my element
to give it back to them. There you go.
And I'm literally like, Here we go. Right. Yeah, but anyways, James, how can people find you online, my friend?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Same name, James Yon Comedian, Y-O-N. As always, thank you guys for reaching out. I love you guys. Reach out to me, talk to me, let me know what you're feeling. Thank you for all the likes and comments I'm getting. Keep following me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for also following me, booking me in your local schools. I got a lot of conferences lined up as well already into next year. Some amazing conferences I can't talk about yet, but I'll be presenting there. And then I have the Board Teachers Comedy Tour and the upcoming show in Salt Lake City. Don't forget October 10th. Hopefully I'll see you all out there. It's a solo show that I'm headlining, so it's a big deal for me as well, my first time out there. And be sure to follow us online and rate this 5-star, share it. Thank you all so much. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. There might be a clip up there. There might be a clip down there. If it's got our face, if it's other people's stuff, come back. Don't click on that, you know. But us, suggested things. That's us. Crying in My Car. Devin, Siebold, James Yon, Board Teachers. Watch. New trailer for Indiana Jones. No, don't do that. Don't do that.